Yes. Okay, great. Okay. I guess there is a bit disturbance from my end, so kindly excuse me for that. Right. So, good evening, and do we have? Okay, I'll be making a folder till that time. Functions and okay. So let's start with the function part, right? Like what basically functions are and what type of functions are there, right? So basically, we'll be starting with the functions. See, function is a piece of program uh, which you write to perform a task. Uh, is anyone saying something? Right. Because a function is basically a piece of program which you write to perform a task, and it only executes when you call it, right? It only executes when you call a function. When you call a function. Okay, great. What does these line means, right? Let's just assume I'm having a function here, right? Let's assume that this function is like is a dog present inside your street. Like my drawing is really poor, so let's assume yes, this is a dog, right? This is a dog present inside your street, right? So let's assume you are coming from this side. I'm removing this stuff, right? This is your street, right? Unless your dog knows that you are calling him, or you are like calling him by any ways, like taking his or her name by producing different kind of sounds and XYZ stuff. Unless you call this dog, that dog will not be able to know that what he has to do. Like if you will call him, there could be a possibility that uh, Rishabh, I guess your mic is unmuted, so can you please? Yeah, thank you. So the dog will give us a reaction only when this person, let's assume this is you will be calling his or her name or producing some kind of sounds by which the dog gets activated, right? Then what could be the possible reaction? Now the dog might like start moving his or her tail, or he'll start moving towards that guy and like start making love and all this, right? So unless you called the function, unless you called the dog was not doing anything. He was just sitting idly. Once you called him, the functionality depends on what that dog can do, right? This dog is the function. Unless I'll call this dog, unless I'll call the function will not be invoked. If it will not be invoked, then any of the functionality which has been written inside this function, that won't happen, right? So, okay, we all got this. Then how we basically write functions in our JavaScript, right? How we declare the functions. We simply write a keyword function and we give it a name. Let's assume I'm giving it a name of dog, right? I'm giving it a name of dog only and creating a parenthesis along with that, a opening and closing brace. Now, you can write the functionalities here, like any of the functionality which you want your dog function to perform functionality here, and that's it. This is basically called as function expression. Sorry, function declaration. Really sorry, functional declaration. Function declaration. This is basically function declaration, right? Or you would say that function definition. Anything you can say. It's just like writing a basic function. That's it, right? Okay, I just said that unless you will call your function, unless you will call your dog will not listen to you, and the function will not be invoked, right? So similarly, unless you will call your dog, unless you will be calling your dog outside the function will not be invoked. And if the function will not be invoked, then none of the functionality will work, right? So similarly, this is called function calling. right? Let us see this with an example. Great. Like, great. Let us make it here only. Function definition. And after that, function calling, right? Function calling. How we declare a function? We simply use the keyword function. I'm giving my function the name of the dog, and I'll be writing all the like functionalities which I want my dog to perform. I'll say console.log, dog will bark, and I would say uh, dog will take 10 steps, right? I can add my for loop inside it for let I equals to 1, I less than 10, I plus plus, uh, console.log 10 is a big number. Let's reduce it to 5. Console.log I, and I would say after console.log I, or we can also write it like we'll write it later, right? Again, we'll be writing like console.log uh, dog is happy. Let's see what this will do. Like I've just basically defined a function. I've not called it yet. So for that matter, I need to call the function. Function names is dog, and I'll simply use my value braces, and I'll call it, right. If I'll save this and I'll move to my browser, I'll one live and I'll see the comment, right. So initially dog barked, and then it counted, like it took 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4 steps, and then dog is happy, right? This is how your function works. Once you write something, it'll only be invoked when you will call by the name of the function, right? You could have written any of the functionality. I just give you a very basic example. The functionality will totally depend on different criteria, right? The second thing which we need to know about our function is like parameterized, right? Uh, Function definition and function calling are also clear. These are basic things, right? Now, parameterized function. What is a parameterized function? Parameterized function. This basically is like functions which includes parameters in them, which also includes parameters in them, are called parameterized functions. Are called parameterized functions. Right. Let us see. Right. Let us see what does it mean. I'm just simply commenting the above code so that it won't hamper my next codes. Right. This is I'm learning for parameterized function, right? Parameterized function. Okay. So I'll take the example of addition, right? Okay, cool. I have a function. This is how I'll declare a function. I'm writing a code for addition, right? I'm writing code of the addition. Right, cool. What do you basically want? Console.log, or let's make a variable first. Let answer is equal to okay, for addition of the things, right? Basically, you will be needing parameters and arguments, right? How will you be giving the parameters? You will be writing the function and you will be giving it a value. Let's assume I want to make addition of 4. I want to make it addition of 5 as well at the same time, right? 5 as well at the same time. Addition of 2 numbers is there. And now I need to catch the numbers. I can use any of the variables and just make sure in JavaScript, we do not have data types, right? So we do not need to write it like int a, comma, int b. This is the wrong way. This is not the right way to do it. You can simply give it a name of any of the variable, whatever you want. You can give it a, b, c, d, anything. And now you can like simply add a plus b, whatever the parameters or whatever the arguments are there in your function, which you got from the parameters, like the value will be copied there, and that will be like performing a addition task, and it will be stored in an answer. After let's assume we are making a function. If my answer value is less than equal to 0, just less than 0, then do not print. Then just break the code. Just break the code. Else simply console.log console.log my answer. Right. Answer is the parameter. If there is, then simply break addition dot log. Not break, sorry, return. break is the keyword used in C++. Really sorry for that. Okay, so this is basically how we can make addition function. Along with that, I'm just copying this stuff so that I can explain it in a nutshell here. Right. This is my function calling. I'm giving a few parameters from this place. Right. This is like the values over which I want to perform the function, the values over which I want to perform my function. And these values, this 4 will be copied at the place of this A, and this 5 will be copied at the place of this B, right? This 4 and 5 will be copied from this function calling, and this is my function declaration again. But since my function is consisting of few parameters in it, right? So this will be called as parameterized function. Parameterized functions, and I've given the argument as well. So that is why it is able to catch the values on the top, right? So let's see how the functions will work. Okay, I'll save it and I'll go to my browser. It is showing me 9, right? It is showing me 9. Now let's change the number. Let's make it 0, 0, right? Because we have written the condition the answer is less than 0, then simply return, do not console log anything, right? I'll save it, then I can see that 0 is there. How 0 is there? Console log answer. Uh, it's less than 0. 0 is greater than that. Answer is less than 0. Let's assume I'm giving a -1 number. Why is it showing so? Let me just see. Okay, so in the case of 0, it is, I don't know why is it showing, but it should not have shown. Like if I'm giving a parameter of -1 and -2, right? I've given a parameter of -1 and -2, then nothing is happening. And if in the case of, let's assume I'm giving it 2 here, right? -1 and 2, then 1 is being shown. Why? Because that answer variable is having the value 0 is like answer is less than 0. So that's why it is not shown. But in the case of -1, 2, the overall totality is turning out to be 1. So that's why it is showing me the answer. But it should have not shown me in the case of uh, 0 as well. Let me just check what's happening. Maybe it is inclusive of that answer is less than 0. Let's make it an equality for that case. Okay. Okay, in the case when answer is less than 0, but the answer is 0, then it is shown, right? Sorry, I'm a little sorry for that. I just got confused a bit. If the answer is less than 0, that is, it has to be either -1 or below than that, right? So in this case, answer is turning out to be 0. That's why it is just going towards this line. And if the answer is like even less than 0, like it could be, let's say -1.1, I can give the argument like this. If I'll save it, then again, it will not be shown, right? But if I change this 0.2 to just simply 1.2, then this argument is shown in the like the answer is shown here, right? Cool. Also, we can give it a. Let's assume I can add 3 numbers here. I can add 3 numbers. Just a second now. I can add 3 numbers. Let's say my 3 numbers are 2, 3, and 4. I can add 3 numbers as well. But at the same time, I need to give one more parameter in this place, right? So that it can catch that parameter. And along with that, I need to change the functionality that I want to add 3 numbers, right? Right. So simply, if the number will be less than 0, then it will not show me the answer. If the number is greater than 0, it will show me the answer. In this case, it should be 9, I guess, right? Yeah, this is 9. But if I simply switch it on to -14, then let's see, are we getting the answer? No, we are not getting the answer because the if loop is working. Let's assume I just forgot to give the parameter here. I just forgot to give the parameters, and I neither I'm interested in giving third parameter. I'm a very lazy person. So what I can do is I can give it a default parameter here, right? I can give it a default parameter here. I can say like, okay, this default value say let's say 5, and I'm giving it a some value of -3, right? Then let's see, are we able to get the answer or not? Then yes, we are able to get the answer. That is 4. How 4? Let's see. This 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4, right? So if any of the argument is not given if any of the argument is not given, the parameter will accept the value if it is provided with the default parameters. This is basically called the default parameters, right? Let me just copy this stuff and paste it over here, right? I would say if the parameters, if the arguments are not there, if all the arguments are not there, if one of the argument is missing, right? I would say this is the missing argument, right? This is the missing argument, right? So these parameters will take take the consideration of default parameters, and if any default parameter is present, then it will occupy that value, and if it is not present, then it will not show the functionality. Okay, in this case, my C is the default parameter, right? And okay, so this overall is a parameterized function along with the default parameter. Let us see if I would have not have given the value of 5 here, what could be the possible answer, right? I've given just 2 parameters and I have 2 arguments and I have 3 parameters in my function, right? I'll simply save and check it out in my browser. And it is showing me NaN that again, it's not a number because that thing is like that function is not getting all the values from itself, right? If I want to change this from 3 to minus 3 to 3, then simply again, it is showing me not a number. Why? Because that function calling is not aware of the value of C. So that's why it cannot predict that what could be the possible answers. So that's why it is showing not a number, right? So just make sure it will show not a number, and rest things are okay. Uh, okay. Any doubts still here? It was easy, I guess, right? Function definition was easy. Function calling is easy. Parameterized function and default parameters. These 4 things are quite easy, right? There is no problem till now, right? Things are clear till now? Things are clear till now? Clear. Okay. That's easy till now. Okay, cool. The next thing which we need to know about is functional expression. Okay, functional expression. Functional expression. What does functional expression means, right? Let's assume I'm making a function. I'm making a function named as again dog. Inside the dog, I've written console.log buck, and after that, I have written that if not if let's not go into details of the functions. Let's just make it the bark and console.log show love, right? Dog show love, right? That's why show love. And simply I'll be ending this my function, right? This is just my normal function, function definition, right? But what is function expression? Have you ever heard in any of the programming languages that you can assign a constant value to the function? Like functions can be assigned towards the constant value, right? This is not possible in any of the programming languages, but it is possible in JavaScript that you can declare the entire function and you can like assign this entire function towards some constant, like making a constant variable, right? I would say this is my uh, what name should I give to this function? I'm not okay. I'm giving it a name of expression only, right? I'm giving it a let's say I'm creating it with let, or let's say I'm making it with var, or let's say we can make it with const, right? Any of the declaration type I can use, and after that I'm giving it a variable name as expression. This is my name of the variable, right? So this entire expression will be consisting itself with a value of the whole function, right? The entire function is being saved inside this function name, right? This variable name. This is basically known as function expression. Okay, it could have been like confusing for a few of you, but let's see how what I'm trying to say. Like I'm creating a function. I can create a function. Let's say uh, function my name, right? Function my name. Now I want to check like if my name is equal to I'm giving it a parameter also here, name, right? If my name is equal to Samarth, let's cut it short, right? If name is equal to Samarth, then console.log uh, welcome Samarth. Uh, in else case, I would say console.log please try later. Please try valid user, right? Please try valid user, right? Let's do it this way. Please try valid user. Uh, Now this is my function definition. I can call this function by my name, and of course I can pass the parameter of let's say uh, Sam is there, right? Sam is there. I've called the function. Let's see what happens. If I go back here, then it is showing welcome somewhere, right? If I write it Sammy, then it is showing please try a valid user. Okay, this was my normal function. Now, how can I basically uh, convert it in the form of function expression, right? Function expression. Simply, this entire function which I've written, I'll assign it to a variable. Let's say this is my uh, name function. This is my call function, right? Call function. I've assigned this function towards the entire variable. Now, will this function work? Let's see. This function, my name is not defined. Why my name is not defined? Because you cannot directly access it like this way. You need to call the variable now in order to run this. Like you need to call the variable in order to run this now. How you can run this? The name of my function is being assigned towards a variable named as call. And inside the call, now I'll be, let's say, passing the parameters summer, right? Passing the parameters summer. Let's see what happens. Here, please try a valid user because I have to give it a value of Sam in order to console log my name Samad, right? What I'll do, I'll simply change the value to Sam and it's showing me welcome Samad, right? This is only possible in the case of JavaScript that you can assign the entire function, like pasting it here, just a second. It's only possible in JavaScript that you can assign the entire function, not the answer, the entirely big function, any function for that matter, assign to that variable, and you can assign a variable and call it by the variable name, by the variable calling, right? Variable name calling. Variable name calling is nothing. It's just the name which you have given to the variable. And that's it. You're calling that name so that the function gets invoked, right? Don't confuse yourself here. It's just the variable name here stands for this call, right? Don't confuse yourself for anywhere else. It's not the terminology. It's just for explanation purpose. And this is your variable name and you are calling it here and I'm calling it here, right? Cool. So basically, this is what your I would say function expression is. This is about your function expression. Is the function expression thing clear to you guys? Function expression is clear, right? You can store entire function inside a variable that is basically known as function expression. And rest, you guys know the example, right? Is that clear? Yes, clear. Clear, clear. Okay, cool. Uh, let's uh, let's just do one thing. I have a function expression. What I can do is I can remove the name from my function, right? I can remove the name from my function in this case. Why just in this case? Just for instance, let's say this is my function, right? This is, let's assume that this portion is not with me right now. Let us just hide it so that it seems like nothing is there in front of us. Let's just hide this. Now, if I want to call my function, again, this is also wrong for that matter. It has to be my name, right? It has to be my name with a parameter named as Sam, right? Now, if I want to call this function, if I want to call this function, this entire function can be called only by one way by calling its name, right? We cannot call this function by any other way except than calling it by name in this scenario. Now, what if I don't want to give it a name. I don't want to give any name to my function. I don't want it to be having any name. I just want it to, this first line to look as if it's written function and just the parameter and starts working like this way, right? The first line to be replaced by this. Is it possible for me to call this function now without the name? Is it possible for me? No, it is not possible. Just telling you, it's not possible. For that matter, you need to have to assign this function, this without a name function to some of the variables so that you can call the variable. Like just in this case, we did, like in this case, what we did, we called the variable rather than calling the name of the function, right? So yes, you can do this way as well. You can remove the name from your function, your name of the function from your function, and only possible only when you assign it with a variable, so that whenever you need the function in the future, you can call it using your variable name as well, right? So if I talk about this, then I can remove the name of the function name of my function inside my function expression. Inside my function expression only. Therefore, this is called anonymous function. Therefore, this is called anonymous function. Anonymous stands for you don't know about the name, you don't know the personality of a person, you don't know about whom you are chatting, right? So that is something anonymous. In this case also, you don't know the name of the function, but yet you are able to call it, yet you are able to perform functions by, like operations by it, right? So this is basically known as anonymous function. What is anonymous function? I can remove the name from the function only when my function is function expression, not by any other way. Else, we can never, we could have never called, would have never been able to call our function which we do, like our function which we have written. Like, so that's why it is compulsory for it to be function expression in order to convert it into anonymous function. Let's see, does it really works or not? Like, this was my function expression, and if I'm saving it, then yes, I can say welcome Samad. And if I change the parameter from Sam to some other spelling, then it is showing me please try a valid user. Right. Okay. Now I want to convert. Oh, okay. I've already removed the name. Let's say what was the name of the function? My name, right? It was happening in this case as well. Right? Happening in this case as well. Please try a valid user. And if I turn back my argument to be Sam, then it is saying welcome Sam. Now, if I just remove the name of the function from my function, right? This is my function, right? This is my function. Now there is no way for me to call the function. For that matter, I need a function expression. And what does function expression means? Assigning it to a variable. I've assigned it to a variable named as call. Now, if I want to perform any of the task, then I can call it this way. Let me change the line now. It's like it's my anonymous function, anonymous function, as it's wrong technique. It would show wrong technique because yeah, it can show wrong technique as well. Wrong technique. It will only show anonymous function when this if loops will satisfy the condition of name equal to Sam. So I'm calling Sam. So let's see, will it show me anonymous function or not? Yes, it is showing me anonymous function. And if I want to change it to wrong technique, then I'll simply change the value of the argument and I'm getting wrong technique here. And since you can see that I don't have the name of the function, this is as I function expression. Let me make one more thing for it. Expression. In function expression, you have my name and okay. This is the anonymous function. Anonymous function, and anonymous function is not having any. I'll name it as anony. I can't use the same like I can't declare the functions again, right? So that's why. And let me change this to welcome Samarth and open this up just for function expression. And please enter valid. Please enter valid. Right. Hope so. There is no confusion between anonymous function as well as function calling, like sorry, function expression. Right. Things are clear.
सर
Yeah. Okay.
सर अगर हमने कोई भी दो फंक्शन लिखे हुए हैं जो कि स्ट्रिंग ही चेक कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल नेम ही,
I have written two functions. Okay, let's assume my first function is my name. My second function is this anonymous function. Okay.
सर हम माय नेम भी रिमूव कर देते हैं और यहाँ पे वेलकम जैसे आप नाम के बदले जैसे यहाँ पे ए मेरा नाम लिख देते हैं वेलकम ABHI, तो वो कौन सा कंसीडर होगा?
Like यहाँ पर समर्थ की जगह I am saying welcome ABHI and नीचे
Yes.
anonymous function. Okay. Now you are asking me to
Which one will print?
like you
वेलकम
have
अभी और एनोमेशन.
assigned it with the same variable only. Like यहाँ पर भी you will be using call. You are saying that
Yes.
see, it is throwing an error that you cannot use it this way. Like if I comment this up and I'll save it, then it is showing that error. The call has already been declared. So either you need to like change it, its variable because the function is already stored inside it, or it's like you need to do some other practice for that matter. You can't save the same like different functions with same names, right? You can't do it.
So I suppose the question is that can we perform overloading?
Overloading is there, of course it is there, but right now you cannot overload it just using this normal function, right? Overloading is there. It's like when you will dive deep into inheritance and loops, all these things, then only you'll be able to do overloading. Overloading is there. Every oops concept is performed in JavaScript, and generally you guys won't be doing it because like heavy nesting of oops is like not a good practice. Like it's a good practice, of course, it's a good practice, but you will not be doing it like often, right? So yes, all the oops like pillars, there are 4 pillars of oops, right? All the pillars do follow the concept in JavaScript. So yes, all the things, inheritance, extraction, abstraction, everything like is like supported. Encapsulation, everything it supports, right? What name was given? Anony was that. This is the name which I gave, right? Okay, so function expression and function anonymous function. Yeah, function expression and anonymous function are clear. These both things are clear to you. Like how we can make a function anonymous by just removing simply the name out of it, and how we can like make a normal function expression just by assigning it to a. I am unable to change my name, include email ID, please mark attendance. They just, I think I'm not like I don't keep a track of your attendance, so I guess Aditya sir or some other from the team will definitely mark your attendance, right? Yes, sir, clear. Okay, so I hope so. These two things were clear to you. I'll just comment it out. Okay. Um, uh, Next thing which we need to do is okay. So there are two type of I would say languages present with us. One is the weakly typed language, right? Weakly typed, and other is strongly typed, right? Other is strongly typed. Weakly typed and strongly typed. Like there is a small difference between these two type of languages, right? Like, is anyone like aware of it? Like if you know, just let it be know in the chat box only so that others don't get confused, right? You know about the difference between weakly typed and strongly typed? Like just write the keywords. I'll get to know that you have the idea or not. Don't write the entire paragraph. I'll get to know. Anyone having any idea with this? Like many of you must be having, but just for confirmation. Weakly typed, no need to declare type variable. And what is strongly typed? Like, JavaScript is also weakly typed, right? Strongly typed means data type of strictly matters. Okay, great. Strongly typed has fixed data types, right? We need to define. Okay, clear. Good. Some of you do have like information about it. So let us try and know about what strongly and weakly typed languages are. See, the uh, just for instance, this is how we were like able to create the buckets, or I would say to create the variables in our JavaScript. Like what I'm doing is I'm just using like I'm just declaring a variable. I'm not defining the type of the variable. That is what type of values can it be handling inside this bucket. Like this answer is basically a bucket. This can also have 10 as a value. If I just remove 10, this can also have my name as a value. This can have like anything, any random bool, true, false, anything as a value inside it. So the data type of this answer is not defined, right? So like if I am able to declare this answer bucket of mine, like I have declared answer bucket equal to 10. I have performed some lines of functions. This is my some line of operation and blah, blah, blah stuff. It can be anything, any function, any piece of code. And again, I'm like changing this answer variable to string. Like I'm changing it to the name of the string. from number, it changed to string. So we know that this is possible in our case in JavaScript. So this is only weekly type language. That is any value can be stored inside the variable which you have declared. Like there is nothing like you cannot, like you are restricted towards adding the values and you're restricted towards giving it a value, right? This is weekly type programming language, which your Python and JavaScript supports, Python and JS supports, and most of you must have like done one or the other of the programming languages like C++ or like Java, or I would say many other examples for that matter. So in that case, this is how you declare the bucket. You need to define that what type of bucket you are creating. Let's assume you are creating a bucket of integer type where you can save only number values, and you can declare a type of bucket of float, boolean is there, character is there, and I guess double is there. You can create different buckets, but you cannot store like you have declared a bucket equal to 10, right? But you cannot store a bucket value is equal to a string or equal to any of the characters, right? Equal to any of the characters. This is a wrong approach in case of strongly typed languages, right? You cannot change the type of the variable that you'll be storing, the type of the value that you'll be storing in your variable. This is something which is known as strongly typed. This is clear. Like what is the basic difference between the implicit type conversion, right? This is also the right way to define it. Explicit need to be defined like great. C++ is strongly typed, right? It's like most of you know about this, but those who are not having much of the knowledge about it, like, is it clear now? Like, what is the difference between a weakly typed and a strongly typed programming language? PL stands for programming language, and we are working on JavaScript, right? So our JavaScript is basically a weakly typed programming language, right? Is it clear? Is it clear for you guys? Any doubts? Well, this is just for explanation part of thing, right? Not much of this to remember. Just remember that why is it weakly? Because the data type can be, because the variable can be having any sort of value in it, and it can be manipulated anytime, right? So that's why it is weakly type. Cool. That's weakly type. Great, man. Okay, if things are clear, then let's try a small question set, right? Let's try for a small question set. I'll be asking you guys the questions. I'm making a function of addition, right? I'm making a add function. Making a add function, and the spelling is wrong. That's why it is showing red mark. Let's assume I'm adding two variables. Any two variables can be there. I'm just writing the parameters and A and B. Let's assume it will give me an answer of let answer is equal to A plus B. This is a simple function, and at the end I'll simply console.log my answer. Right? I'll simply console.log my answer. Now I'll be giving you three questions. Like let's go for three questions first. Questions. Now function is there, function is fixed. Now my question number one goes here. Like what if I give my add function two parameters. One is my boolean, and don't type it in your whatever it is. Like don't type it in your browser console. Don't type it anywhere in your JavaScript file. Just think according to the code. Just think according to the knowledge, and then tell me what could be the possible answer. Right? What if the two parameters are bool and 10, and if I'll call the same function again, I'll be calling them like one after the other, not all at the same time, right? This is my question number one. This is my question number two. I'll be simply commenting this up. What if I'll be adding, let's say, okay, bool only with my name, like with my name, and let's say third as adding 10 with any of your names, right? Vishesh, right? I'm writing Vishesh here. Vishesh, right? Right. What are the possible answer in these three cases if the function is constant, right? I'm expecting you guys to tell me the answer in your windows only. What is 11? So you are telling me the answer. I'll not tell the answer. You need to tell the answer first. I'm like bringing the question back. Take 2 minutes and give me the answer for this. Take 2-3 minutes and give me the answer.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So in the second question, have you like intentionally used one single parameter?
Both the parameters are there. Oh, sorry. Have I used plus? Really sorry. I didn't notice. Really sorry. There are two parameters.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, sorry for that. There's a comma, not a plus sign. I don't know how I messed up with the sign, but it's okay. It's 6:12. We'll be discussing it at 6:14. Take 2 minutes and don't run it. Just try to give it a dry run and think about your capabilities. Like, okay, according to your knowledge, this is the possible reason. Then we'll discuss. Right. This is not a test, so just give your 100%. Shall we discuss now? Like, is anyone here still left to uh, give his or her attempt? Like, I can only see two answers there. Why is it so? At least give it a try, na? Like, take 1 or 2 more minutes, give it a try. That what could be the possible output according to you, right? Give it a try so that you can know that okay, this was either the right way of thinking or the wrong way. So let it be. Just give it a try. Uh, okay, great. Two more replies. 11, one summer error. Okay. 10 false summer. But how can it be false? Yeah, shit, man. Really, really sorry for that. I would have written some values here, right? I would have written either true or false in this case. Really sorry. Okay, both true and false will be accepted as the right answer. Both true and false will be accepted as the right answer. Great, Saransh. Great, Sameer. Not Sameer, sorry. Saransh. Yeah, Saransh, Amisha. Great. Um, 10 or 11, depending on the value of the. Great away, great. Really sorry, I didn't focus on that time. I just gave it a data type of that, primitive data type. Fall summer 10, which is great. Okay, let's see that what can be the possible outputs here. I'll be commenting the first question like this. I'll simply add true and 10 at this place. I'll save it and let's see. I'm getting first answer to be 11 instead of getting like any other thing, right? So why is it happening? Let me explain you. Inside my sum function, I don't know the name of the function was sum or add. I don't know. Let's say it was sum. I've given two parameters, A and B, and this A and B are getting from the arguments that this A is basically true. Anything is possible, true or false. You're not like judged on the basis of answer. It's like the good concept thing. And this is like my name was there, or was it 10? I guess it was 10, right? So this is a Boolean value, this is a number value, and they are getting added towards each other, right? So basically, this true will ultimately being like typecasted here. This true will be typecasted in the sense it will be changing its data type. Like if right now it is Boolean, then it will be typecasted towards the one which will be having the higher priority, and the priority is of string is like greater than the priority of integer. Like this is the wrong way to do it. Priority of the number, I should say, number, which is like the priority of the Boolean values, which is like in this case, this is the priority. We can see the priority orders as well in some Google stuff, right? So just check it out there if you need to know about the priority thing. This true or false, any value for that matter, will be typecasted into the one which is having more priority. The number is having the more priority. So that's why this true will ultimately turn out to be 1, right? This was true. Typecasting took place. Typecasting took place. It turns out to be 1. Now the question is 1 plus 10. So ultimately we are giving 11 as an answer, right? So that's why in this case we are getting 11 as an answer. Let me uncomment this and try this here. So in the second case, I'm getting true Samarth. So, okay, my question was to add true and Samarth. So what basically happened here as well is you are given a value true, and this true value is adding along with the string, right? True value is added along with the string, right? Okay, this true is Boolean type again, and this is string type. So the high priority one is the string. So this will be typecast. How will it be typecast? We are having true value, and this true, sorry, we are having a Boolean value. Really sorry, we are having a Boolean value. This is bool, and this Boolean value will be typecasted. I'm using the arrow instead of writing it again. Typecasted into string, and after typecasting this true into string, this true will be like somewhat like this. And if I'm adding two string, this is basically concatenation. This is basically concatenation. So yeah, I'm getting true Samarth as my ultimate answer uh, inside my console window, right? So true Samarth is basically being concatenated because of typecasting again. So similarly goes here. This number and this string are being typecasted. Like I have a number, and again I have a string. I'm adding two things like 10 plus string. Right, this number will be typecasted to string. So that's why we are ultimately getting 10 Samarth as the answer rather than any other thing. So it is because of typecasting. Everyone was using the word typecasting, right? Typecasting is basically just changing the type of data type of yours, right? Just changing the data type. Typecasting, I would say, getting converted from one data type to the other, from one primitive data type to the other. DT stands for data type to the other, and I would say other data type, right? Other data type. This is basically typecasting. You can like give it a read from MDN as well. Go to MDN and learn about this typecasting things there. Acha, tell me one more question. I need to know that I'm just commenting this thing again. This thing is not necessary for me to like. This is like done. This part is done. I need to ask you a simple question. Is my empty string equal to 0? Empty array, sorry. Is my empty array equal to 0? Will it be giving me true or will it be giving me false as an answer? Abhishek says no. Abhishek says no. Okay. Is my empty array equal to 0? Okay. Everyone is saying false. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to my browser. I've given it an empty array. Right. I'm checking it to 0 value. It is turning out to be true. Anyone knows why the reason? Anyone knows the reason? We just read about typecasting. Important
So it
to
is
know in
checking
your
the
life.
length. That's
It
why.
is
Checking the length of array. That's why.
no. It's not taking the length. It is basically typecasting only. So what happens in the case of empty array? I'm happy that I asked this question. Okay, so great. A new thing you'll be learning from this, that if you have an empty array, right, that there is nothing in the array, then this empty array will be typecasted. I asked the question of double equality, right? I didn't ask about triple equality. If I would have asked about triple equality, then this typecasting would not have taken place, right? This typecasting would not have taken place. But in the case of double equality, that is checking, this empty array will turn out itself to be an empty string, right? This empty array will typecast itself. This is typecasting itself towards the empty string, and this empty string also ultimately typecasts itself towards 0. So that is why if we are checking empty array equal to 0 and it is giving me true as a value. If I would have checked empty string equal to 0, it would have given me true as well. Let's see how. If I would have checked like this is the case one. If I would have checked, let's do it here, right? Empty string equal to 0, then I'm getting true as an answer. And I can also check that empty array equal to empty string. Again, I'm getting true as an answer. So that's why this is the process that the empty array is basically turning out to be like typecasted to empty string, and this empty string is again typecasted to 0, right? Just keep this in mind. This was, I guess, important for you guys to know. So this is how this typecasting works. Typecasting example. And have we missed anything to just jot it down here? Have we missed anything? Answers you guys can check it from here. Like, have we missed anything? Anonymous is there. Okay, so this weakly type and strongly types language is less a theory part of stuff. You can do it from that place, and I guess this is okay. Okay, we are switching to the next topic. This is like done. Like, any doubts till now? Things are clear, right? I guess Mohit gave it the right answer that yes, it is true. So great, Mohit. Right, reference to an empty string. Reference to an empty string. What if these use triple? Like, in case of triple equality, this typecasting would not take place, right? Let's say I have a empty array. Empty array with triple equality equal to empty string will give me a false because this is an array and other is a string. So the typecasting of the data types would not take place. It will only be possible that when I'll be giving it empty array, double equality, because in double equality, the typecasting would have taken place, right? So this is the only possible case we can like get equal values, right? But if you can want to check for empty string, this is also true, right? In triple equality, this is true, but not in the.
No.
Yeah, was someone asking something?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I'm asking that in JavaScript, what is the default value of Boolean type? Is it false or true?
Let us check. I'm not sure of the default value. Let's say, let's do one thing, right?
Python, it is a false. So
in Python, it is false, or you are saying I think it is false. Let us see the default value. Default value of Boolean in JavaScript. I guess it should have been true, but let's say. Let's check it out here. The Boolean false. Subject has initial value of false, right? But in the case of empty string, it is saying, right? Wait. I'm not sure of it, so that's why I'm not giving it any statement. No. The object has an issue. It's parameter commented or 0, 1 minus null.
Sir, it should not have any default value because we have to declare it.
Let us give it a try, right? I'm just trying something which is not a good practice, so let's just wait for a minute, right? I'm giving it just a bool, right? Let's see what this bool will give me. Will it give me anything or will it not? Just trying something. Don't do it ever. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. Right? If I am saving things, let's have. See, pool is not defined. So I guess there is nothing like a default value in this case. And if it is there, then I'm not sure of it. So I'll let you know in the next class about that. I'm pretty not sure of it. So that's why I can't give it a statement, right? I don't know about Python. I've never worked with Python, but in JavaScript, I feel so that the person who said that there is no default value is right, because in order to get something, some values from it, it should have been declared something else. Your JavaScript engine would have provided it with the value of undefined, right? Let's assume you have a bucket, and let's assume somehow you were able to create it a bool bucket, right? Which is not possible because data type is not there, right? Which is not possible, right? So that's why the compiler will, I would say the JavaScript engine will give it a value undefined, not by true, false, or any other thing, right? This undefined is the special keyword which your JavaScript engine assigns when the value is not there, right? So it is like something which could not be like possible that true or false will take place in this case, right? So I don't think so there will be any kind of value. It will be undefined if we'll declare it that way, right? So there is no default value in that case. Baki, I'll let you know for sure. I'll let you know for that matter, right? Okay, so typecasting is clear, and I guess strongly type, weakly type is clear. About the function, just Okay, like what is the first order function? Have anyone give it a like have read about it? Like what is the first order function? First class function, BD, sorry, first class function. What is the first class function? Anyone give it a read or try to open MD and I'll ask you to like give this like give a read to these functions, right? Anyone knows what is the first class function? If you're trying to Google, then don't do it. I'll definitely tell you out. It's really simple. Right. Anybody tried to search for first class function? Okay, I guess nobody, but it's okay. See, we learned about function expressions, right? What are function expressions? Function expressions. Function expression is basically assigning a constant variable, assigning a variable to a function, right? This is my function. Let's assume this is my a big, huge function. I've written a function. I'm assigning it to a variable. Let's say this is my expression, right? This function expression is only known as first class function, right? This is only known as first class function, right? So if anybody will ask you that what is the first class function, then you can explain about function expression. These both are the same things, right? Just the interview might like tackle you in a way that what is the first class function or what is function expression. So generally people don't know the first class function is same as that of function expression. So just keep this in mind that the first class function are same as that of function expression, right? When function feels like variables in a function. Yeah, great, great, Pratik. I guess I forgot to see your text, so you are right. Okay. Function expression is first class function. Okay, so we'll be starting from the next class only because I need to make some things like global execution context. A new topic is there. A new for sort of thing is required to be taught, which will take time. So that's why I'm not starting it again. So I guess this is end for today's class as well. And tomorrow's class, like the next class, will be a little heavy. So try to cover off all the concepts of JavaScript. I'll be moving a little faster way, and it'll be like a heavy class. So be prepared for that, right? Next class will be a little heavy. So be prepared and revise your things. Until that time, you can like go to MDN and check for the different values which we studied, check for different functions. You have the list of functions here, as well as you can like do give it a read, do give it a revision, and we'll be meeting, I guess, on Thursday. The class is scheduled on Thursday, right? You have 2 days time. Cover up with your assignments, cover up with your theory part, cover up with your revision, and then we'll be starting with heavy stuff of JavaScript, right? Okay, so I guess this is end for today's session
Hi,
and
Samarth.
today's day as well, right?
Samarth,
Great,
just a
sir,
small
great.
announcement.
Sure, sure.
The next class will be on 1st July. As per the schedule that we have shared it with the students, next class will be on 1st July.
Okay, okay. I didn't know about it, but okay. I'll be joining in 1st July. No worries. So I guess you guys have lot of time. So I will give you homework. Bad luck for you guys. Okay, so read about I would say read about all the functions in JavaScript, right? Read about all the functions and read about I would say execution context. Execution context. Uh, there are two things: memory creation phase and code execution phase, right? Read about them and let's uh, let's make it read about stacks, which all stacks are possible, and uh, read about I would say um, 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 read about hoisting, read about closures, right? Read about these 5, 6 topics. These are like pretty important topics which will be discussed in the next class only, and that too they could be like knowledge heavy for you. So it's better if you like try to understand it with a resource or with a documentation first, and then we'll be discussing it in a better way, right? This is your homework till your next class. So make sure
So
you
what is
guys
the
like.
fifth point?
What is the
Fifth point.
closures?
Okay, sure.
I'll write it in a better way. Closures. Is this visible now? It is not hosting, it is hoisting. Don't be confused between hosting and hoisting. Right? This is hoisting, this is closures. Read about all the functions in JavaScript, as well as execution context and code execution phase, memory creation phase. Right. I guess this is enough. If you will be like able to revise things and do it, then we'll be like good to go. Right. So this is your homework. Just like study it so that things will be clear to you in a better way. Right. Okay, so I'll be uploading the code. There is nothing much in the code, but okay, you can see it there. Stop sharing my screen. Right. The class has ended from my side. You guys can